And we're back with Doug and Stacy here on the Screen Team, all brought to you by Poplar Drywall, Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, and also Fearless Social. We've already got done talking about Mississippi Burning. It's time to talk about another movie that is has a lot of racially charged entities or bullet points into it. We're getting ready to talk about Selma. This movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture in 2014, and this one depicts the historical elements that happened in Selma, Alabama in the 1960s. And we have Stacy and Doug here to talk about it. Before we talk about the actual movie, did you guys know a lot about the actual Selma incident before watching this movie?
I didn't know a whole lot about it.
Me neither. I honestly didn't know about it.
Yeah, I was with you guys, and I'm a huge history buff. I love history, but
I'm a history nerd too.
I didn't really know anything about this, and apparently, Dr. King was obviously in the midst of trying to get the African American vote in the southern states, right?
Right.
They were having trouble getting it done, so they were trying to do a lot of protests and marches and stuff like that, and they were coming into a lot of conflict. Not only
a lot
locally,
of resistance.
Not only locally, but also on a national level as well. What were your first thoughts about the movie? Did you guys enjoy it?
I did enjoy it
a
a lot.
Really good movie. Yeah, very well written, well scripted or cast.
Yeah, the acting was great.
Phenomenal.
Stacy, I know you. David, what's his name?
David Oyelowo.
David Oyelowo. He's the guy who played Martin Luther King Jr. in this film, and he did a fantastic job.
He seemed to me to be kind of spot on with it. I mean, the voice and just the way he talked, and you know,
he nailed it.
It was very convincing.
And you had some other famous actors playing some other famous historical figures. You had Tom Wilkerson playing LBJ. You had Tim Roth playing governor of Alabama, George Wallace, and everybody did just a fantastic job on the movie. Early on, the movie to me was just a hair slow. I thought it really started picking up when it got to the scene where all the riots happened on the not riots, but the conflict happened on the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a beautifully shot piece of cinema.
Just to see what those people went through back then, it just there's a lot that I could say I won't say that has happened in the recent past, but seeing what everybody went through at that time, it just kind of opened your eyes to a lot of things.
One scene that kind of surprised me was there was a scene where what's his name, Malcolm X comes in and kind of I don't want to say shows his support, but he comes in and talks to Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife to I guess kind of help out a little bit, and
right.
She didn't want nothing to do, or they didn't want nothing to do with him at all.
No.
Yeah, he had a bad rap. You
Yeah.
know, like
he was the opposite of them. He's more like the militant.
Yeah,
and they're
more about peace. And,
yeah.
I think he was kind of coming in maybe to say, listen, I'm not like you, but here's what I can do for you. I can make my point, which is going to make you look better, and in the end,
in the end, you'll get your way. You'll get the vote, or you'll get the people to vote. You get your point across.
Another thing that I really liked about this movie is usually when we look at historical figures, they almost have like a mythical view or a legendary view. Like when you see them, you're like, well, these guys are incredible. They don't have any bad qualities, or they don't have anything that you kind of and you kind of feel that way about Martin Luther King Jr. He's a great man, and you think highly of him, and he's got a statue in Washington, but like every other human being in this world, he had his own demons and things.
That's right, and that did pop up,
and it did pop up in this film. And
I like how they covered that. It didn't get ugly. You got the point.
Yeah. It was very. It was gently put in there, but it wasn't like thrown in your face. But you kind of got the.
It wasn't overlooked.
Yeah. There was a little bit of controversy in this film because a lot of historians and critics have said that in the film, is showing that LBJ didn't have a in the film it depicts him not really caring a lot about the movement and about the need to get the black vote down, and historians argue with that he was actually a big he wanted that. And I guess it's kind of murky. I mean, Lyndon Johnson later in the film comes to it, but you see early on in the film that he's kind of very hesitant about getting on the bandwagon. So I'm not a historian. I'm not a critic.
I have heard from someone whose parents worked with that with the civil rights stuff, that there was a lot of things that weren't historically accurate. But when I watch something like this, something that is written, like, I don't take it all for 100% face value, because
well, there's got to be some drama, to sell the movie. I mean, that's the honest part. I
mean, we can't be 100% sure what Dr. and Mrs. King said, after all the kids had gone to bed, and we can't be 100% sure that's what was said. So we kind of have to just,
honestly, if you were to put a movie out there where everything, all the dialogue was said, and that was the way it went,
it's called a documentary.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I mean, if you put that documentary into a movie script, it'd be pretty boring. You've got to have the drama,
and it probably wouldn't flow very good.
No.
I felt this one. I mean, the beginning's a little bit slow, but it definitely picks up, and it's an emotionally written drama.
I think maybe the beginning was slow because they're trying to feed us information. People like us who don't know a whole lot of everything. So maybe that's why they kind of.
I remember when I first heard of the movie Selma, like, what's this movie about, Selma? Then I start seeing the commercials and everything, like.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a town in Alabama called Selma.
Honestly, I thought
it was
either.
It's like, it's about a girl.
Yeah,
Who's
Selma? My first thought.
Who is Selma?
Yeah. And then you start seeing Dr. King and all this kind of stuff. I was like, Selma's. What's going on here?
Yeah.
That was about Selma, Alabama in March. What?
Yeah.
Birmingham. Yeah. That's what I was like. Oh, Birmingham.
Yeah.
No.
It's before our time, but not Sabrina's time.
Yeah.
I've got jokes like this for years, man.
Well, and you know what? If she'd have watched it, she'd know exactly what it's
exactly
about.
Right.
You can give her trouble coming up in the next segment. We're going to be reviewing San Andreas with the Rock.
Oh. Yeah.
So that is coming our way next. It's all right here on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.